Okay, this video is going to overview a few points of that will help you use Google My Maps if you haven't before. So for this activity, there is a collaborative map that we can build. We can add points, polygons, and lines to this map, and we can do that in an organized way by adding layers to the map. This is what the map looks like that you'll get when you follow the link. There are already some sites that have been added to the map. But if you want to add more, here's some basic things you need to know. One, if you want to add a point, you can actually search for it. If you're looking for a site that you think might be named in a Google map. For example, say I want to find the disc golf, see if the disc golf course is at Evergreen is on the map, and it looks like it is actually. And so if I search for it, I see it here. If that's something I want to add to the map, I simply have to click this plus sign and add it to the map. Once it's been added to the map, you have some options. You can change the color of the point if you want, and that can be useful if you're generating layers, and so you could have all of the points in a layer look the same by either having the same color, or you may have certain icons that indicate the points in your layer. You can add an annotation, and these can be really useful to the actual location. You might have some information on, say, when the disc golf course was started, or whatever that you would like to add to the map. And so you'll see some of the sites already have been annotated fairly well, and you can feel free to add annotations to those as well. Okay. Let's see, you can add points that way. You can also just locate a point. So say you have a long-term study site, or there's a site that has some significance that isn't actually already identified in a Google map. You can actually select this point marker icon up here under the menu that says add marker, and you can locate a marker that way. And you can please name it other than having it be a numbered point. You can say forest plot or something, for example, and then have some explanation as to what that is. And again, you can use all those features to change the color and the icons with that point. If you want to add something like a trail or a polygon, you can use this feature here that says draw a line. And when you add a line, you simply do that by clicking on your starting point and then dragging your line. If your line is not a straight line, you can click your mouse along the route that you want to take. And when you're done, you simply double click that, and you have a line that you can then name also and annotate. If you want to make a polygon, you use that same tool, the draw a line tool, and you just have the beginning and the end, or have two points on your line meet, and it will automatically generate a polygon. Okay, so those are the basic features that you can add. You can measure distances between points using this measuring tool, or between a line and a point. So I can measure the distance between this point here and this line, and my default setting is in feet. I think you can also have it set to be meters if you prefer that, but that can be pretty useful as well. And so I'm going to escape out of that. Some things to know: it's useful if you have a concept in mind that would really represent something like a layer. Say I want to identify all of the gardens on the campus that have plants with names where students can go and maybe study the plants. You could actually create a new layer and add just points relating to that layer. And that can be really useful when we're organizing these maps, because we can turn on and off layers as we want. And that also becomes important when you're saving elements of your map, because you can save the layers as you'd like. And so to generate a new layer, you simply click this option here that says add layer. And you can actually import data, a KMZ file, as a layer, or you can generate a new layer. Let's call this campus gardens. And so I could add the gardens that I know about on campus, and many of them are already named. here. So if I zoom in, I can see there's the basket garden, for example. I could add that to the map. I could add the the Longhouse Ethnobotanical Garden. It's actually already added to the map, but I could put it in this layer. I could add, there's a number of other gardens in here. The teaching gardens, I could add the teaching gardens to that layer. And if you end up having it in the wrong layer, like I just did here, you can actually drag your point down to the layer where you want it to belong. And once you have that layer, you can save it. And that can be used to add to a different Google map. Now to do that, you're going to want to save your layers as a KMZ file. And if you want to save your map or your layers so that they can be used in other Google Earth applications, you actually go up to the menu here by the title of your map. And there are some options here, including you can copy the map, you can embed it somewhere, and you can export the map and the layers in the map as a KMZ or a KML file. And so say I want to just save the individual layers. That can be really useful. I would select the layer, say I select Campus Gardens, and I want to export that. The default is that it's going to export it and save it as a KMZ file. But you could actually you have some other options. I tend to use the defaults, and so I click download, and I actually end up with this file, campusgardens.kmz, saved to my computer. I can then go to Google Earth or to some other file in Google Maps and import that KMZ file, and the gardens show up again. So that can be a really useful tool that you can use. So those are some of the tools that you'll need to add layers to this Living Lands map. And there are a lot of other options and a lot of great help in the Google Earth and in the general Google help section that will help you get through this. And we can certainly work together on different questions.